All right. Welcome to Free Game. This is episode 16, and this is the part two of my interview with the one and only Mike Amius, and it's with video. So now you actually get to see both of us. So Mike, thank you for joining me once again, and we're just gonna continue where we left off, man.
It's always a pleasure, my brother.
Fun fact, it's been almost 2 years since we last talked to you.
Yeah.
March 6th of 2021.
Wow.
It's either 21 or 22, I can't forget, but it's almost been 2 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while. So within those 2 years, um, what's it been like now? Obviously I know, but do you want to tell the people, like, what have you been doing in the past year, 2 years, your game, what league you're playing in? You want to just refresh us where you've been at?
So from March 2021 to now,
Hmm.
yeesh. Man, I mean, honestly, it's been a whole lot that's happened in that time. Uh, but I think the best part about it is like the experience, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Just like now I feel like I have more of a purpose, but I'm very much like sure of my path. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Before I was just kind of like trying to figure things out in a way still, and just kind of figure out who did I want to be as a player, um, where did I want to be, um, and there was just all these like moments where I kind of like thought to myself, who do I want to be? What do I want to be remembered as? And now I feel like the shift 2 years later is like I just want to be a good basketball player. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
Yeah.
so like my focus now is like just do what you can with the time that you have and get as good as you can, and wherever that places you, um that's where you'll be. And even if I'm happy with it, bro, I don't care where I'm playing. I just want to be, you know, I just want to be happy playing the game. I want to feel like I have a place that I can call home, and I'm still looking for that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I had that, in the last team I was in, but you know, things didn't really turn out the way I was expecting it to go. However, that gave me like um basically it gave me an idea of what I wanted like moving forward, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm very sure of myself. I know exactly what I wanted, for myself, and then also just like trying to start a family and stuff like that. What do I want for them too? You know what I
Yeah. Yeah. And trust me, I know, because I have a little one. I'm married, and that family stuff is no joke. You know what I mean? Like, literally, when they say, you know, it's the most cliche thing. Like, your life's
mean?
gonna
Yeah,
change when you have a child. And every time I hear that, I'm like, all right, whatever. But it's honestly like the the most honest of facts. So I understand it. So last time when we were on the pod, we kind of cut off to where you were at Western Carolina.
oh yeah,
And um, so after Western Carolina, you decide to leave college and enter your name into the G League draft.
hmm
That process for you came with a lot of eye-opening moments, but also, some unfortunate events.
yeah.
What, first and foremost, what happened? And then secondly, how did you feel after all that went down?
uh I mean, it was pretty much like I think I can't remember if we talked about it, but even sophomore year, I was just like, I didn't really want to stay in school much longer. I was like, man, you know, I feel like if I'm within like the right circumstances, right situation. Maybe I'm not the player I want to be now, but I need to be in an environment that's going to make me the player that I want to be. And I feel like college wasn't really like that for me. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, we we didn't really like do college, think about college. So like even when I did it, it seemed like a big thing to like everybody else around me. But for myself, I'm like, I'm only here for one reason. I'm gonna be honest. Like I know probably like before I like, school this, school that, degree this, degree that. But I'm like, I don't really have a lot of time, you know, and I still feel that way, but I'm not in a, I'm not impatient about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm understanding that, you know, like humans, we don't have time. We don't have time on this earth. And so I'm like, I think I was a little bit impatient, but I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm just trying to get out of here. But that was pretty much my mindset when I was a junior. And I think the biggest thing is I didn't really have a sense of direction, nor did I really have the support that I was expecting. And so I think at the time I just kind of closed myself off from people because I just felt like what I needed, what I wanted, I wasn't getting from the people that I was expecting it from. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just do this by myself.
Hmm.
And, you know, I think that was good for my development overall because it allowed me to mess up, one, and learn from it. And then two, just kind of like learn as I was going. And I was young. I was like 21, 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's kind of like laying down the plot for you. But yeah, the G League thing it was a great experience and just, seeing the players, seeing, um, just everything was just very surreal and it was a great moment. But deep down inside, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I was ready.
Hmm.
Whether I would have, we don't know, obviously, because
Right.
of what happened. But I myself was excited to start up, but I didn't think I was like ready from a standpoint of just everything. I was still young, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so deep down, I think I kind of knew I wasn't ready. And in life, and God had a way of um, preparing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I didn't end up even going through training camp. You know, with the situation that happened there, and then which was pretty unfortunate. But I think what I felt afterwards was probably I say it was tough at the time when it happened, like the feeling, because you kind of feel like you work your life for something and it just kind of gets ripped away from you, right?
Right.
But obviously you have choices. You can say, oh, like it's over, all that stuff. But you know me, I'm not that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I just took some time to myself, man. I shut myself off from the world, got off social media, um, and then just kind of like, honestly, what it felt like is like I just like regressed to my smallest state. It's like Cell when he was in the cocoon. I like did that, but I needed
Yeah.
to do it. I needed to do it, and it's just time for myself to kind of just, think. And I think when I came out of it, I was just like, I'm ready to work. I think I needed that space to myself. And when I came out of it, I was ready to work. So that was pretty much that situation. I think for a while I was just like dead set on the G League. You know, I think I kind of held on to that story and that feeling, and I tried to like squeeze it out as much as I could, whatever I needed to use it for, whether it was like coping or even like motivation. But as soon as that was gone, I was just like, now I'm just kind of left with nothing. Now I have to figure out where do I go from here, and you know, I think that's what kind of restored like my faith in myself. Cause I'm like, I mean, I still love basketball. I'm like,
Hmm.
this situation doesn't really define me. I don't really feel any relation to the situation no more. It happened forever ago. And I'm just kind of like, I moved past it. And now, you know what I'm saying? From that point, again, I think I was just stuck. I was stuck on the mindset of trying to get back. And then I kind of switched to the mindset of just wanting to find a home and establish myself. But yeah, that was pretty much what happened with that situation.
Yeah, and I think, us as like outsiders looking in, we only see a athlete that doesn't make it. It's just like, oh, it just wasn't meant to be. But me, like knowing you personally and listening to the stories, it's so hard to get
Yeah,
into the NBA, let alone the G League, just the NBA
yeah,
in general, because A,
yeah,
there's only a limited amount of spots, and B, there's a lot of hoopers, not just in America, but like outside the world.
they got
Everybody
game.
wants, yeah, exactly. So for you to sit up there and say like it happened, and to keep on going, a lot of people's story would have ended right there because in their mind, they're not going to get that back at all. And it wasn't even your fault. Something medically happened and now you're just back to square one.
Yeah,
So after that situation happens, you go on overseas and you play in a couple countries, smaller leagues, right?
yeah,
Yeah, explain that situation because a lot of people think of overseas players playing in like China, Australia, you know, Paris, like the big markets, but there's
yeah,
so many leagues in so many smaller countries. Like explain kind of the play style there, the living style situation, and just you being an American going all the way overseas to play basketball.
yeah. I mean, it was a challenge in a sense of like I think playing the position that I played made everything kind of difficult for me. It made it very hard to like get my feet off the ground. So like playing the five in college, I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just doing what's best for the team. The problem with that is it's not what's best for you. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because, what that kind of did was it kind of like put me in a box and it kind of stunted my development as well. Because what I was trying to like develop in off season, like it wasn't coinciding with how I would use if I'm playing for a professional team. And so me being agile, that was the sell that these teams were trying to tell me. And they would be like, oh, you can play the five and you can, get around guys. You'll be quicker and this and that. And then because I was younger and I didn't really have the experience, I didn't have the voice or the confidence to say that I know that's not going to work. And I knew damn near every situation that I went into that it wasn't going to work. I'm like, bro, I'm playing five. The fives here, they're not like when I was in France, for example, the fives there, they're not like a lot of them aren't like mobile fives. They're like big boys. They're big
Yeah,
boys, bro. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's just like, it sucked because it was so physical for me. And normally, like, even if I was in practice and I get switched onto a guard and he clears out and he gets clamped, it's like, this is where I belong. Obviously,
yeah,
I'm not trying to be like I got to be the PG, but I'm like, I belong more out where I could, hold my own.
yeah,
But I think in a sense of going through that, it built some resiliency in me, but at the same time, it's just kind of frustrating. So I can't really say I enjoyed the experience when I was in Europe. It was tough. The living wasn't too bad. Um, I'm sure it's like way better now because I mean, what are we talking about? Like 4 or 5 years ago? But
Hmm.
like at the time, like I said, like it was just like for me, I feel like a lot of my story revolves around having to figure out a lot of shit by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what it was. And it's like already doing that. Now let's send you to another country. And it's like, oh snap, this is nuts. Like where would I
Hmm.
go from here? So it's like doing stuff by yourself. And now you're in another country where you don't know nobody. You don't even speak the language. And so it's just like, I feel like that was good for, I think everything up until that point, probably at the time I was like, this is wild. But I didn't complain about it. You know me, I don't really complain.
Yeah.
I just try to problem solve. I try to figure it out. And so I think that's a lot of that prepped me for like certain moments in my life, even outside of basketball, that maybe I wasn't ready for, that I ended up being ready for when it was time to, what I'm saying, handle business. Um but yeah, I mean I don't have nothing ill to say about, my experience just because I'm looking back at it now and I'm like, this shit was very pivotal for my development. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, the crazy thing is, I can recall everything in detail, but I don't want your podcast to be 3 hours long.
Yeah. Listen, still broke over here, man. Still broke.
And
Nothing,
I
nothing
hear you, I hear
changed.
you, I hear you.
But
But yeah,
now, speaking on, being overseas, I kind of want you to talk about dealing with sports agencies and agents in general because they're important to an extent
yeah,
from, the outside looking in. But if you get a bad agent, man, that doesn't do anything for you, it can ruin your whole career.
yeah.
So, because you switched agencies,
Mhm.
kind of give your perspective on agencies in general and, you know, some word of advice for young players out there who are trying to go to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. Um, it's tough. I would say the best advice that I can give right now is, this is all cliche, but it makes sense when you're going through it. But just like do what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you kind of get, depending on who you have as an agent or the people that are after you, it becomes a thing where it's like you try to please others, please people. You still kind of are like, what is this person gonna think of me if I put my own like selfish goals in front of like theirs, or just being upfront and honest with guys, you know, being better with communication and making it known what you want as a player and your expectations from an agent. I think a lot of the times, like, you don't want to push, but you need to, because you can't really, you can't understand my vision unless I talk to you about it. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
can't understand your vision if we don't communicate about it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like oftentimes I say in my own experience, like, I just assumed my agents were working as hard as I was working on the court. They were working on like getting me a job, or, just being an agent in general. Like I felt like they were putting in an equal to, if not like more effort. But that'd be nice, obviously, but it's not always like that. So like, as far as just agencies and stuff like that, um, you just gotta do what's best for you, honestly. At the end of the day, like guys they're gonna pillow talk you, bro. We've already, you know what I'm saying? We've already been through enough of that stuff, like just with getting recruited, or, you know what I'm saying, a job or something like that. People are gonna tell you the glitz and glamour. They're gonna pillow talk you like, oh, if you do A, B, and C, this is gonna happen. But it's like, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions,
Mm.
because if they're true about who they are, they're not gonna have an issue with answering questions. You know what I'm saying? If they
Yeah.
start getting flustered, they dodge you, flag, start, you know what I mean? They start getting defensive, then it's probably not the person for you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But just have a goal in mind, know what you want, and just kind of take it from there. My opinion on agents overall, um, you just gotta have the right one. I don't want to like badmouth agents just cause like say my own experience, for example, you know what I'm saying? Like it may not be the same as somebody else's experience with an agency.
Right.
Um, but for people, I'm not the only person in the position that I've been in. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
like I know there's other people who are in similar situations just to me. So, you know, to go back to your question, just like, just have faith in, uh, make sure you guys are on the same page. Make sure you guys both want the same thing. Make sure your goals are realistic and make sure your goals can be, um, understood by an agent and can be fulfilled by an agent as well. However, don't just sit on your ass and think your agent's just going to do everything for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Yeah.
also put and work yourself to, you know, put yourself out there. You got to market yourself for sure. But just, you know, give your agent material, great material to use. Like, don't have a shit season and then expect them to get you somewhere. Don't put up good numbers. Like, don't have a bad off season and then be mad at him that he's not getting you a job, you're out of shape or you're not prepared. You didn't give him anything to work with, you know what I'm saying? Like wherever
Right.
league you're in, get film, you know, do all of that stuff. Obviously it'd be nice to not have to do that because it's not your job to do that, your job's to hoop. But not every situation they're recording you and they're posting stuff online, stuff is live streamed. So certain stuff may either be up to you or, you know what I'm saying? If that stuff is not something that you like, get somebody else to do it. You know what I'm saying? You do that, I mean, everything just try to just keep everything simple. Everything just kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah. And I think especially nowadays with the, NIL deals that are happening in college, some kids are getting paid in high school.
Yeah.
These agents are, it's like sharks in bloody waters, man, because there's no guidelines. I think there was a football player in college that signed an NIL deal that that agent will get a percentage of his career earnings for the rest of his life.
That's crazy.
And the kid's in college. He's not even a guaranteed pro yet. So, I think it's very important for especially college kids, get you a lawyer to read the contracts with these agencies, with these NIL deals, because it is, like you said, you know, it's also important for you to do the things that you need to do in order for you
Yeah.
to land a job, in order for you to get wherever you want to go. But
Yeah.
like you said, you know, they're not there to, you know, do everything for you.
Right.
You're like an investment to them. So I think that was a good talk, man, because I think that's going to, especially in this day and age, it's very important to, you know, just to have the conversation of it being out there.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
so now, last year, you were in Australia playing for the NBL ONE, and you had a really good season, man. All the YouTube clips that I've seen of you, you know, you you look you look very different from back in the college days.
Yeah.
Explain Australia. Explain, being in a little bit bigger of a league than what you're used to, and just how the season go last year.
Uh, Man, honestly, like this is definitely my favorite year playing basketball because I felt like it was the closest version to myself that I felt like I was allowed to be. Um, my coach allowed me to just have a sense of freedom. You know what I mean? And just that alone, like I was only there for like 6 months, and I just feel like the growth that I was able to undergo while I was there in just such a short time span. I mean, you seen the stats, bro. Like, I started off decent, and then like as the season progressed, I just kept getting better, kept getting better,
Mhm.
kept getting better, and I'm like, oh, so this is what it feels like. You know what I mean? And I only played 18 games. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the sample size in 18 games, and I was like sick that it ended. I'm like, I feel like my next game will be my best game, and
Mhm.
then the game after that is gonna be better than the last one. And so I think the biggest thing was like I think when I went over there, I was just very sure of myself when I got there. You know, we had like a little retreat kind of deal that we uh did as a team. Um and you know, while we were there, we had conversations and stuff like that as a team, stuff and I think one of them was just like, you know, what are your goals for the team or what is your goals for the season? And what is your expectations for yourself? And I said, I remember the words I said. I said I want to be consistent, reliable, and efficient for you guys. For myself, obviously, but I want to be available for you guys. I want to be reliable for you guys. I want you guys to trust me. These were all things that were very important to me, and I just was very sure of myself out the start. And crazy enough, when I got out of the experience, was probably the best thing that I could ask for because it translated to like life in general. You know, just leadership and understanding how to lead, understanding when it's time to follow, understanding when it's time to listen. You know what I mean? And again, just being very sure of myself. You know, the season wasn't really like as far as like what we did as a group. It wasn't, you know, anything that I would have. It wasn't anything that that I was proud of as far as like where we ended up. But I just took advantage of every day, bro. Every
Yeah.
day I worked. I
Hmm.
mean, you saw the results, you know what I'm saying? But every day I
Yeah.
worked and, you know, there was things that worked, there was things that didn't work. And so throughout the season, I was just kind of making small adjustments. I really felt good this day. I did A, B, and C. I didn't really feel too good this day. Let me back off of that. You know, this is good, but maybe it needs to get tweaked a little bit. And then let's see how we can, kind of, you know, take it from there. But yeah, that really like restored like faith in myself and my game because the things that I set out to do, like I did it. Everything that I said day one when I got there, I was the same person uh the first day as I was, you know, when I got on that plane to come back home. And so I'm just like I came back home with just a sense of like confidence. I'm like I'm exactly who I think I am, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
for a lot of people like that's not the case. But you know, it was humbling. It was humbling, and you know what I'm saying. It was at the same time it was a lot of like uh just like a lot of like personal development that I was just grateful for. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm just kind of hoping I could piggyback off of that wherever I go next.
Yeah, because hearing you from France to Spain to Australia, when I talked to you, your Australia chapter, I think you were the most happy, the most relaxed. It wasn't, when you were in France and Spain, it was just like, man, I'm playing the five. There's nothing to do here. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, but in Australia, it seemed like mentally you were just you, right?
Yeah,
And every basketball player from the high school level all the way to the pro level, when you have a chance to play the way you want to play, that's when you're going to get the best out of yourself and the love of the game.
yeah,
And it's just tough with team sports because, not everybody can play the way that they want to play. Like you
Right.
can't put 5 guys out there that just want to go get 40 every night. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But when you actually find something that fits and your play style fits with that team, I mean,
Yeah.
the results showed like you were a killer, man. You had like multiple 20-point games in a league that is competitive. So I think that moment, it was kind of a new chapter,
Yeah.
a new plateau for you to get to where you need to be. And with that being said, talk to us about what you see in the future as your basketball career. Where do you want to see yourself either next year, 5 years, where you want to end your career? What's your foreshadowing of yourself in your career for basketball?
I mean, at first I thought I knew at the end of the season, you know, I was told that I would be, a returner basically. And so I was pretty content, um, with being in the NBL. I was like, listen, I'll do the NBL one thing for a year, 2 more years, and, I'll play for an NBL team and I'll take it from there. You know, if that brings me back here, cool. But if I spend my whole career over there, fine. I feel like the league with basketball, with the lifestyle, it provided for my needs. I think that was another reason why, like, I grew so much as a player, as a person when I was over there, because it just, everything that I needed, everything was at my disposal. You know what I'm saying? And I had a little bit more freedom. I had a car. That bastard wasn't a manual like it was in Spain and France. So, you know what I'm saying? It was better, you know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
I
English
think right
speaking.
facts, bro.
Yeah.
People don't understand how much of a difference that jump makes, man. Like,
Hmm.
it's a big difference maker. The people that are playing pro, like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But, right now, man, I don't even know. Like I said, I'm just like you said about the whole earlier when you were saying about just playing how you want to play. I feel like I've allowed myself to be able to do that because I've worked on every aspect of my game. I've been doing it for a long time. You know this. I've always
Hmm.
wanted to be able to just play in any system. Um, so right now I don't know what that looks like. You know,
Yeah.
what I do know is I just want to be like, I just want to be respected for who I am as an individual. I think my biggest skills right now are not even my hard skills. Like, it's not the handle, it's not the shooting, it's not the rebound, it's not the passing. It's here. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
the IQ, it's the leadership, it's the non-ego. Like, you look at my numbers from this past season. First in rebounds, I think maybe like second in blocks, second in scoring. Um, but whatever about that. What I'm really trying to say is I was the fourth option, basically. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I didn't really care because I'm like, that's not what this is all about. This is all about trying to get better. This is all about trying to win, you know? And
Hmm.
to be a great leader, you got to let guys do what they're good at. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
what I did. I let dudes do what they were good at. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't taking away any shine from anybody. Um, but I think a lot of times that stuff can get overlooked. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And especially with a team with a losing culture. To go back to the question, I don't want to be a part of a team that has a losing culture. You know what I'm saying? You got a losing culture, like, what have you? Like, I'm wasting my time. And then those skills that I do have that are very important, they're going to get overlooked. Being
Yeah.
able to adapt, being able to, you know, have a leadership role, you know, have a high expectation for guys and stuff like that. Get on guys, communication. Um, I think where I see myself in the next 5 years, I'm even better than when I am today. You know what I'm saying? Skill
Hmm.
wise, mentally, I know that's gonna happen. Um, and I hope my skills just carry me to where I want to be, where I can be accepted, where I could be valued, um, where I could compete and win, where I can make an impact on the community. I don't even care where that is anymore, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I thought I knew, like 5 years ago when we would have conversations, stuff like that. When we were in the dorms having these conversations, when we were at your house having these conversations, I thought I knew what that was. You know what I'm saying? I painted that idea of what I felt like that was in my head. And to tell you the truth, it's not it. You know what I'm saying? Our own self-importance comes from the impact we have in our own lives and on others. That could
Hmm.
be the NBA, that could be the NBL, that could be the CBA, that could be a lower division league in Timbuktu. Like, you know what I mean? As long as
Yeah.
you have that self-importance and then you have the means to take care of yourself, take care of your people, that's your NBA right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it doesn't really matter where I am in 5 to 10. As long as I'm still playing, I'm good.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I got a fun question for you. And I've been thinking about this one ever since you told me.
so
So you've played and or trained against both of these players. They're well known. I want to know who is the hardest to guard.
yeah, that's a no-brainer, bro.
You don't know what I'm even gonna say. You don't know what I'm even gonna say.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Michael Beasley or Scotty Barnes.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Scotty, I don't know. I don't know. I think Michael Beasley was definitely harder to guard because Scotty is like an all-around player. You know what I'm saying? Scotty's not
Mm,
trying to go at your neck. Mike was trying to go at my neck the whole day, and I was
that's
like,
crazy.
yeah, I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, I was the new guy on the block, and every possession, which I wanted
Mm,
to a certain extent, but you could just kind of tell like Mans was playing point guard, and every time he inbounded it, he came straight at me. I'm like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Scotty, it felt more like we were playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? Mike,
okay.
it felt like one on one, and so it was like, yeah, obviously he's gonna be harder to guard. The bastard
Yes.
6'10", shoots like Kevin. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's a bit it's a bit inflated, but yeah, I'd say Mike definitely for sure.
that's crazy. There's so many infamous myths about Michael Beasley killing everybody in practices,
So,
you know. But obviously, you have trained and seen Scotty. How do you see his improvement from his rookie season all the way till now? Because he's like the man in Toronto. So,
yeah,
you know, what's your take on Scotty Barnes' rise in the NBA?
if I'm being honest, I think what it only does is it confirms certain beliefs that I had about like South Florida. You know what I mean? If you
Hmm.
were raised here and you were raised the right way, you're only going to improve as an individual. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could say that about Scotty, but I'm saying that Lamar Jackson, I think about him all the time because, we went to school together and stuff
Hmm.
like that. We were friends. And so like I think about him and I'm like, man, it just keeps getting better. He's basically like the face of football. You know what I mean?
MVP.
Yeah, and I have those same expectations for Scott.
Okay. So now I got the serious questions out the way.
Yep.
So now we can have some fun.
Just having fun.
I'm gonna try to.
Just
I'm gonna
having
try
fun.
to anyway. Your boy LeBron. How is he doing it, bro? How is he doing it? What is he? 39 years old,
something like that.
averaging what, mid 20s, high 20s.
Yeah, like 24, 25, 7 and 7, something like that.
Check this out. I may not know basketball as well as other people. I don't see Bronny being an NBA player.
That's fair. That's fair. He's actually one of my favorite players. I'm not gonna lie. Let me explain to you, bro. The IQ he's got bronze IQ to an extent. He has bronze like temperament when he plays. He's just not aggressive.
No.
If he was aggressive, like think about it. The man could shoot. The man could pass. He can dang near do everything. He can push the ball as a guard. If he was aggressive, you'd be like top. You'd be like first round. But he's just not aggressive. When he wants to be good, that's when he's my favorite player. But like him doing what he's doing now, it's gonna happen. He's Mans is a freshman, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I
He
know.
get him a break. Give him a break. It's gonna
I
take a little
know.
bit of time.
I know. I know. I just see other kids out there like just killing it.
Oh yeah,
Like Lito's little brother, Aiden Holloway,
yeah,
he's a murderer.
yeah.
Then you see Bronny, it's just like, because he's gonna one and done.
I
Like
don't think so. You think so?
we see the play.
I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe. I'm gonna tell you this. It's because he's Bron's son. People are gonna say he's not like an NBA player. He's under a microscope.
Big time.
There's been players that have averaged less than him, that have played less than him, that have been healthy. Remember, Bronny had the heart thing
That's true. That's
and got
true.
drafted. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
I I can't see it. I want to see it, right?
him get
I want to
drafted.
see it. I want to see him play with his dad. I want to see him play with LeBron. I do. But I I just don't know how good he's going to be after LeBron retires.
What do you mean by that?
He has a motor like Anthony Davis, I
Damn.
believe. Just it's not there yet. And
hmm
maybe, like you said, he's a freshman.
hmm
He had the heart thing, right? But even in high school, it was a low motor.
Yeah.
He's super intelligent. He's very smart basketball player. Like he doesn't make, a lot of mistakes. He's a safe player, right?
hmm hmm
But is that going to translate in the NBA being safe?
I think, man, because I feel like at times I think I like them so much because I feel like I could relate to them the most. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I feel like he, because he's so intelligent, he overthinks all the time. What's the right play? What should I do? What's the right thing to do? When they're clicking, you're like, this guy's unstoppable. But
right.
oftentimes when you're trying to find your way, you're like, what's my niche? What is it that I like doing? What should I be doing in this predicament? You know what I feel like he is right now, Bronny?
Mm,
I feel like I think he is a loud leader, but he is not comfortable being that just yet.
mm,
Like who he is, he's not comfortable being that just yet. He's like feeling things out. When can I say this? When can I say that? When's the right time to do this? What's the right time to do that? I feel like he can be a loud leader. I think he needs to develop into that. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
Right now, you know what I'm saying? He not there yet.
That's fair.
Personally, I don't want him to play with Braun. I just want him to hoop. Like
because I feel like they're gonna try and the narratives. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
already doing it right now. I'm just like, man, forget that old man, bro. Like, paint your own path. Like, Bron will see you when Bron see you, and y'all can do whatever. Like, y'all may not even have to be on the same team to have him develop. That man is your dad. You've had 18
Yeah.
years of development with this man. You don't need 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see
Right.
Bron's work habits. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Yeah.
learned enough from the man. You know what I'm saying? That man doesn't need to play with him in order to like um be better. Unless there's like stuff that happens in the NBA where it's like, I want to protect him. I can't do that unless I'm physically there in the locker room and making sure he's not getting punked in practice. Stuff like that is a little different. Bron is an enforcer. He's that vet in the locker room.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
see why he can't do that from another team though. Like, enough people know Bron to be like, hey, look out for my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure,
Hmm.
nobody's like on his case or whatever like that, or they're not, mistreating my boy. And
Yeah.
even if they were gonna do that, you think Bron's gonna play about Bronny?
No.
No chance.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm
Absolutely
saying?
not. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
There was another story that came out, I think it was this week. Um, Speaking of LeBron, Clutch Sports pieced it up with the New York Knicks.
Hmm.
And obviously, they've been beefing for a decade, and they kind of shy their clients away from New York. Clutch Sports is one of the biggest agencies in the NBA, hands down, no question about it. But there have been some rumors about LeBron possibly going to New York. He had a New York Knicks towel. Now, you are a Bron fan. Would you accept LeBron going to New York?
Uh at this point, that man could go wherever he wants. You know what I mean?
Not the Warriors.
At this point, that man could go wherever he wants to go. If Steph want to play with that man and Bron want to play with that man, they will make it happen.
So you as a LeBron fan would be okay with LeBron going to Golden State? Because I would be happy with LeBron going to Golden State.
Yes. I think me, like, forever ago, would be like, nah, that's dead. But Bron has nothing to
Mhm.
prove. He's beat him multiple times in the playoffs now, like even being with the Lakers. Um, that beef is kind of done. You know what I mean?
I don't even think it was a beef.
It wasn't. It's just I feel like it's the social media. The
Yeah.
age of social media just kind of like tried to make it something that it was. Almost like Bron and Kobe's rivalry. You know what I mean? There was always
Right.
respect. There was never rivalry. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like I feel like now that that's kind of like gone, I don't think that it would be an issue. Um, Me personally, like, I don't really care where he goes anymore. The man's 40. You know what I mean? He's unplayed
Yeah.
out his days. Why can't I go look for championships like every other old timer that wants to win? Obviously, these guys are different from LeBron, being ringless
Yeah.
compared to like having one. But I think he's shown that he can still compete. There's no other reason why I would want to play in the NBA at this level if I wasn't trying to win. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like, if that's what he want to do, man, he's Braun. You know what I'm saying? I can't even be mad at it. I'm like, hey, you've done what you've done. You've you made my childhood, so it's like whatever else he does right now is just like icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Um, I want to get your take on Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, everybody knows who he is. He's a 7'5" point guard. He can play any position.
Yeah.
I told my dad and brother about him when he was in France, when nobody knew. I was like, this kid from France, he's an alien. He's like, you can't even create something like this on 2K. Like it's just so
For sure.
ridiculous. But I think the more and more he plays and the more he gets comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
the more successful he will be. At this point of what I'm looking at, you may have a better take at this because you've played at the pro level. Have you ever had teammates not give you the shine in order to win? Because it seems like Wemby, he can go get 40 whenever he wants to,
Yeah.
but his teammates aren't giving him the ball.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt anything like that? Is that even true? Like, or am I just speaking out of my ass?
Uh, yes. And yeah. Sometimes it's not even intentional, but guys, they just have a tendency to do things, and if you don't call it out, they're gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna lie, like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I feel like they be, Buddy's like 7'5". However, just like us, they've never seen something like him before either. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
You know what I
That's a good
mean?
point. Yeah.
So it might take an extra. I mean, think about his numbers when he first started. Think about it now. They're kind of playing with him a little better now, but these guys are also young. So it's just
Yes.
like they're not making the playoffs.
No.
So in my mind, I'm like, I don't know if winning basketball is on their like priorities list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's like that has a little bit to do with it. Obviously, like the fan side of me wants to be like, man, bump these guys, pass this man the ball every possession, please. I want to see
Every possession.
every possession. Every possession. I don't care. Give him the ball.
Every time.
Throw a
Every
lob.
time.
Fake a shot, throw a lob. Both your
It's
assists.
that easy. He's
Break
7'5".
break the assist record today, bro. Today, break the assist record. But that's the fan side of me. But
Mm-hmm.
like you just said, like the professional side of me, like I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've
Yeah.
been there before too. But I think it just takes the chemistry. Even like when I was playing this past year, I think it was a lot of stuff was just like chemistry and just talking to guys. You know,
Yeah.
like really
Yeah.
talking to guys. But that man's tough. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a good player for a long time.
Yeah. And the trade deadline is coming up. There's a lot of big time names that have been thrown out there. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan's always getting thrown in and out of there.
Hmm.
DeJounte Murray, and even Trae Young.
Hmm.
Who do you think is going to make the biggest splash? What NBA team do you think is going to make the biggest move to kind of upgrade their roster before the All-Star break?
A part of me wants to say LA, but the only reason why I'm like on the cusp is because they played great against like a Boston or something, and then they beat the Knicks, and they beat like a playoff team, and then they get blown out by the Rockets, and you're like, do we need a trade? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And like,
Right.
you're like, if I get rid of like if I want a good player, it's only gonna make us marginally better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much other issues. I think, to be honest, I think I think Golden State might surprise us with something.
I always think that, but the
Yeah,
reason why I'm iffy is because there's no Bob Myers anymore.
yeah.
So if anything, this GM is going to break up the big three with Draymond, Steph, and Clay.
Do
And
you
honestly,
agree with that?
I'm at the point. I think I'm at the point now where I am okay with it.
Okay.
Um, if you would have asked me before the season, I would have called you crazy. I just said there's absolutely no way these three guys are going to retire together. I
Yep.
don't care if they win 3 games until they retire.
Yep.
This core three has to stay in Golden State to retire. And I'm at the point now where it's tough to watch when you see Steph just be Steph
Mhm.
and everybody else can't produce.
Yep.
Andrew Wiggins can't produce. Clay is not the same player anymore. Draymond is getting suspended for choking people, which, hey, I do agree. Don't mess with Clay. You won't get choked out. Anyways, you know,
Hey, the fan just came out.
yeah, man, I am a diehard Warriors fan, and it's almost like miserable to watch because Steph can put up 60 and lose.
Hmm.
Like, this isn't the Warriors of old. This is reality.
Yeah.
Every dynasty has their ending road. I
Hmm.
didn't expect them to win a championship a couple years ago. You know, as a Warriors fan, I think I'm happy with what I've seen over, you know, my life of watching Steph
Hmm.
and this great team take out the best with Kevin Durant. But
I'm glad you had
um,
party in.
you got to, you got
Yeah.
to. It was cheating. It was
Yeah.
cheating. But if they do split it, I I gotta have Clay be the one to stay.
Really?
I got to, man. Like,
I would Clay. Clay gone to me if
I
I
know he's
went
I
three.
know I know he's not what he used to be, but the Splash Brothers were insane. You 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 can't find another Clay, and also you can't find another Draymond.
Yeah.
Now, if they get a big piece and trade away Chris Paul, which please, I don't know why we got him in the first place, or even Andrew Wiggins,
Hmm.
and you can get a nice piece, preferably a big,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm happy with that. But if one has to go, I would have to pick Draymond to go over Clay.
That's actually crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And I think a lot of Warriors fans may or may not. I feel like they would lean towards the side of me, honestly.
I get it, but it was like when they played the Lakers. I don't know if you've seen the stat where it's plus minus what it was when he was on the court as opposed to when he was off. That man is like a production crew, bro.
I know.
It's a great presentation, great cinema, great
Yeah.
movie, great show. It's because of the production. You know what I'm saying? It's what's
Yes.
happening that we don't visibly hear or we can see going on the court. And it's like the man's kind of the reason why they're not worse to an extent. And I think Buddy brings out the best in Steph.
For
I
sure.
don't think Clay does that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. You're right.
Maybe, but not to the extent of Draymond. You know what I mean?
It depends on if Clay's hitting. That's when he benefits Steph.
Yeah, because he just spaces the floor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You so I don't know, man. That's interesting.
I
That's
just don't want Chris Paul.
yeah. I know. Trust me. I know.
Don't get me started. I
Boy,
hate
hair
Chris
gonna
Paul.
fall out.
And I got a lot of it too. I got a lot of it.
Oh man,
But I got one more question for you.
what's up?
It's gonna get a little serious. That's just how I gotta end it. Just a little dramatics, you know what I mean? Just what it is. Um, Before I ask the question, I do want to thank you for coming on.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
you you were going to be the first podcast on YouTube,
Yes, sir.
so I appreciate it. We're definitely going to have you on more to talk about sports and everything else, and
Thanks.
kind of document how your life's going. But like I said earlier, you've had chapters in your life,
Yeah.
right? From Mid Plains, Western Carolina, the G League thing, France, Spain, Australia now. Um, who are you today? Who is Mike Amius right now?
Man, he just a regular dude. I ain't gonna lie. I think I think who I am and who I get praised for, I don't really I don't really think about it. I'm just like, I just want these things in my life to be a certain way, and
Mm,
I'm just willing to do whatever it takes to make it become like a reality. And I think the lives that I've affected in the process, that's who I am. You know what I mean? But like when I think about myself, I'm just like, bro, I'm a regular dude. I do I I do the things that I'm sure anybody would do if they uh knew how uh achievable like their dreams were, you know what I'm saying?
hmm
And they just understand like the importance of treating every walk of life with respect. You know what I'm saying? Child, man, woman, you gotta treat them all the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same
hmm
respect. Just kind of keep things simple. Like, I don't think I'm anything special. I just think I'm a human being who has compassion, who, moral compass is based off like, the Bible, and just like somebody who's learned life, who's walked through life, and has just opened his eyes, opened his ears, opened his mouth, and has just allowed, himself to like be affected by others in a positive way, and then just giving back in ways that, good, giving the good that was done unto me, and then just spreading gospel, spreading knowledge, spreading like love. That is the image that I think I'm taking in the image of the man above.
hmm
I don't think that that's really like uh I don't think that's a big deal. And it may seem like a big deal to people because I understand how life works and how things are difficult to do. But for me, I'm just like, they're not too difficult for me. It's just who I am. I'm just a regular dude, bro. At the end of the day, that's really
Right.
it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Hey, man, regular dudes do big things.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, I'm regular as hell.
Yeah.
I'm as, I'm as regular as it
Yeah.
gets. But I'm just trying to bring light. I'm trying to bring light to people and just show like everybody has a story. Everybody has some type of game that they can bring to somebody else.
Yeah.
And, just to help around, help other athletes, help other people, and, just try to be a better person. But that's it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. I appreciate it. I can't wait to see what's next for you.
For sure.
Um, if it's the NBA, I need my rookie card autographed and graded.
I got you. I
And graded.
got you.
Well, that's it. That's free game, and we're out.